So do you know what this is? This is a solo zone. This is actually what you want all of your solo zones to look like. But getting them to look like that is not an easy thing, but it is about to get a lot easier with today's video. Today we're going to go over exactly what you need to do to shoot down your solo zones in any herd managed grind. Now I actually just changed my strategy on how to deal with solos, and I'm going to share that with you today. But before we head into it, let me know in the comments what your dream great one is, and somewhere in the video I am going to share a key phrase. Drop that in the comments for your chance to win a 1-month membership to the channel, and we are going to dive right into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what a solo zone is. Now anytime you find one animal drinking by itself, that is a solo zone. But there are different ways that solo zones can present themselves. Anytime you find a zone with all males and no females at all, those are all solos sharing a drink zone. Now you can't even have 2 males and 2 females all being solos sharing a drink zone, but the only way to know that is to go over and check the need zone indicator. So let's go pick up the need zone indicator for this solo. So today I'm going to share with you where my solo zones have been going, where to look for them specifically here in Asi Ridge. They seem to follow a set pattern and show up in the same places over and over and over again, so I'm going to share that with you today. Now this is exactly what you want your solos to look like for muleys. It's not that easy to get them to look like that, but today's video is definitely going to make that easier. Okay, so for that last muley, there was no need zone indicator, so I'm going to show you the need zone indicator for this one. There is a level 3 solo here that needs to be shot down, and we are going to shoot it. But first, I'm going to spot around the lake and make sure that there are no other solos here. Now, I actually do already have 2 level 2 solos on this lake, but they don't seem to be here right now. Oh, there's one right there, and there's the other one. And Splat. Okay, so I should be able to show you the need zone indicator now, and then we're going to talk about when to deal with your solos, because that is really important. You don't want to be rushing into it or it isn't going to work. No need zone indicator. Okay, there's got to be one on this lake. Okay, well, a wee bit strange, but there are no need zone indicators here, so I will find one to show you. But sometimes the animal hasn't started drinking yet, there won't be a need zone indicator, or sometimes they just don't show up. Okay, so we have here a 207.34 level 3 muley. Now we'd like to get this guy down to about a 140 level 2. So I am sending it back for a respawn, and as you can see, I am not leaving it on the ground. We're doing this a little bit differently, and I will explain that to you in just a sec. Okay, we finally have found a solo need zone indicator. So whenever you find a solo need zone indicator, open up the map and it will actually tell you the sex of the animal and the weight class. So this is a female, so I don't have to worry about this one, but there should be a need zone indicator for every zone telling you how many animals are in that zone. So this is a need zone indicator for a herd of 8. Now, whenever you start a herd managed grind, you want to find all of your drink zones set up on 16 zones, 8 mains, and 8 exteriors. Then you start rotating on all 16 zones at the same time, shooting the mid-levels and up. Now, when diamonds spawn on main zones, you're going to stack them, and what that means is you're just going to leave them for now. You're not going to shoot them. Now, the reason that we stack diamonds is to help to shoot down our exterior zones faster. Whenever there is a lot of trophy ratings sitting on the map, a lot of big animals, that tells the game to give you smaller respawns just to balance out the game, and so that will help you to shoot down your exteriors. Now, you don't want to deal with your solos until you have a lot of stacked level 5s. I shouldn't call them diamonds. We don't know if they're diamonds or trolls, and it really doesn't matter. When you spawn a level 5, you're going to stack it. Even if it's a troll, it's going to have a trophy rating of 300 or more, and it will still help you to shoot down your exteriors. So stack all those level 5s. You honestly want to have a minimum of 13 level 5s, even more if possible. That is going to really help you to shoot down your exteriors quickly. Okay, so there's 1 level 5. There's 2 more level 5s, 1 and 2. There's another level 5, and there's another one right there. And there's another level 5 and another one right there. There's another level 5, and I actually have 2 more at a lake that just won't come in. I do have 13 level 5 stacked. I didn't show all of them because they're being hardy and won't come into their zones, but I do have 13 stacked. So before we were trying to swap out the solos with smaller animals, and for me, I don't love the waiting part. It drives me crazy. I'm just not a patient person. I'm just going to be perfectly honest. I am not patient. So this method I just like a lot more. So basically you just keep doing your grind until you have 13 or more level 5 stacked on the map, and then you can go and start to shoot down your solos. You don't have to do any swapping, just simply shoot them. So whenever you do find a level 3 or larger solo, just shoot it and pick it up and wait for a respawn. Now, there's no guarantee that they are going to shoot down immediately. You probably will have to shoot them several times in order to get them right down to a level 2, but I will show you on the map where they have been jumping around for me, so hopefully that'll make finding them easier for you guys. Now, anytime you shoot a solo zone, that zone is going to delete and it is going to reappear somewhere else on the map, and you are going to have to re-find it. You need to re-find it so that you can see whether it has turned into a level 2 or if it has to be shot again. And if you do have to shoot it again, then it is going to delete again and you're going to have to go and re-find it again. It's going to be a little bit like a game of hide and seek, but the more level 5s you have stacked, the faster and easier it is going to get smaller, and hopefully you won't have to play this hide and seek game for very long. Now, I have been getting a lot of solos at this lake. Now, it may be different for you. You could have herds there, but I have solos there. So they like to go from there over to this lake. They also like to jump over to Horseshoe Lake, this lake over here. I actually put a tent close to it, even though I have an outpost fairly close by because I was going there so much to check for solos. And this lake right here has been getting a lot of solos. I actually have 2 level 2s stacked there and a very small level 3 that I am just going to leave. I am trying to get level 2s into my solos, but when I get a really small level 3, I just leave it because it can be a lot of work to shoot it down. So I actually have 3 solos jumping around at the bottom of the map. Now, what I have learned is that when you have a solo below the river, it is going to respawn either below the river or at this lake, or this lake, but it won't jump up here. And if you have a solo that you shoot up here, it will respawn in this area and will not jump to the bottom or go to these 3 lakes here. At least that is what has been happening for me consistently. Now, to show you the way my solos have been behaving, basically where they go is when I have 2 zones on a lake, one of them is usually a herd, then the other one will usually have solos. Now, as far as how my solos have been behaving at the top of the map, I had a solo here. We shot it. And a special shout out to Maniac, Mr. Ed, and Wild Scorpio XO. Both of them have taken time out of their busy lives to help me with my solos. And if you can get a friend to help you with your solos and then go and help them with theirs, it's going to make your life a lot easier. When you have 2 people out scouting looking for solos, you're going to find them so much faster. So when I had a solo here and we shot it, it jumped over here, went back. They did jump around these 3 lakes quite a bit. It did jump to this lake. Now I have a herd here, and I had 2 massive solos here, and when I shot them, nothing ever came back to that lake. Now, I don't know if that's what will happen for you, but that is what happened for me. I don't seem to get a lot of solos down in this area for whatever reason. I do have a level 2 solo here, and I know some people get solos jumping onto this lake quite a bit. That just hasn't been what's happened for me. Here, I'll show you what's there. Okay, so this is a really great spot to put a tent because you can see down onto these lakes right here. Shout out to I Buy Premiums. That was his idea. And here is a level 2. And there is a female solo on this lake somewhere as well. And then on this lake, I do have a herd, and then I do have a solo level 2, and they aren't showing up. Now, you can have solos within herds. They can be tricky that way. Now, oftentimes, when you do have a solo sharing a drink zone with a herd, I'm just doing the 1-minute trick to see if I can get some muleys onto this lake, and it did not. Oh, hold on, they are there. Yes, they are. They're hiding. Now, oftentimes, when you do have a solo sharing a drink zone with a herd, it will be off to the side. Not always. sometimes they do mix within the herd, and the only way to determine if that animal is a solo is to go and pick up its need zone indicator. So they can be tricky that way. But at the bottom, I have been getting a pile of solos at Horseshoe Lake, and right now I have 2 level 2s and a female stacked there. Piles at this lake, I have 2 2s and a small level 3 stacked on this lake, and I've been getting a pile of solos on this lake. And basically what I've done while I'm dealing with solos is I have pulled my pickup tents to set up to check for solos. So I wouldn't normally have a tent right here. I do not have a herd zone here, but I have it there to check for jumping solos. Now I can check my regular lakes because I am set up with tents anyway. And for this lake, I can just run in from the outpost. For this lake, you can just run in from the outpost, and there are no muleys at these lakes or these lakes here. And of course, this lake up here, the solos love this lake. Let me show you what I have here. Okay, so we are here at the starter outpost. There is a level 2. Ain't that a beauty? Man, whenever I see a level 2 in a solo zone, just makes me feel super warm all over. It makes me very happy. And there's another one, and this is a level 3 that I am just gonna leave. I would rather have it look like this, but that's small enough for me. Sometimes you just gotta take your victories. I'm okay with it. It could be a lot bigger. Now, when you shoot solos, they can get a little bit bigger, they can get a little bit smaller, but not small enough. You may have to shoot them several times in order to get them to be a level 2. But the more level 5s you have stacked, the greater the chance is that your solo is going to get smaller. But when you have, say, 13 level 5 stacked and you start to deal with your solos and they are just not shooting down, go back and do more rotations and stack more level 5s and then go back and deal with your solos later. Okay, so we're looking for a new solo in here. I do have some level 2s, but it is not looking like I have another solo here. And this can be very tedious. You really do have to look for them. I found that dealing with my solos took quite a lot of time. And look at that, we do have a level 3 solo. And he went Splat. What's that? What's that? I think there's another solo in there. Where did it go? Or am I seeing things? Oh, I see something running. There it is. There it is. Yep. Where you going? That's what I thought. You're going nowhere. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick them up. I'm not gonna swap them. And there we go, 200.9, way too big to be in a solo zone. Uh-oh, I blew the zone out. That's okay, those 2 level 2 solos will just probably go to the lake next door or very close by. 226 is a big old solo and we got a double long heart shot. That was a sweet shot. Now please come back much smaller. You can do it, my dude. I believe in you. Okay, so now I have to wait for that solo to respawn, but I do have a couple more solos out here, so I am gonna keep looking. Now, after I shoot a solo and pick it up, I do not shoot other muleys for a little bit. I actually use this time to look for other solos, just in case what I shoot swaps with my solo. Now, I did try to deal with my solos with 10 level 5 stack, and they just kept coming back at the exact same size, basically. It just wouldn't work. So I had to go back and stack more level 5s. Okay, that's a solo. Where you going, dude? Splat. Okay, 182. We need him to come back at about 140. That is what we're looking for. But they are getting smaller. Now, when you are checking zones that are shot down, it's a good idea to spot all of them, because if you suddenly have a big deer in there, it could be a jumper, but it also could be a solo. So that's when you want to go over and check the need zone indicator. And that actually happened in this zone up here. This zone is completely shot down. There's a bunch of level 2s and females in it. And I went over and checked, and suddenly I had a big level 4 right in the middle, not off to the side. Looked like it was part of the herd. So I shot it, went over, checked the need zone indicator, and it was indeed a solo. So if you see something big in those shot down zones, good chance it could be a solo. Or it could be a jumper, and what a jumper is when you shoot a muley at a main zone and it respawns at an exterior zone. That is a jumper. That is going to ruin your herd management. So if you notice your diamond rate going down, or you are getting a lot of small respawns, go out to your exterior zones and check for jumpers. And if you do find some, you gotta shoot them and make sure they don't respawn there. Now, often when you do shoot a jumper, it will stop respawning there, but if it does respawn there, you will have to set up there and shoot that zone down again. Okay, so this is a good example. So when you see a herd like this, and then you see one deer off to the side, that deer is almost always a solo. And here is her need zone indicator. And she is indeed a solo, so there you go. Now, when you're looking for your solo zones, if you get to a lake that has a herd on it and the herd isn't here, your solo usually is not going to be here as well. So what I do in that instance is I go back to the tent, and I usually do put the time forward by 1 minute. Okay, so it is expensive. You always want to do this in a tent because it is 25% cheaper than changing the time in any outpost. Now, if you don't have a lot of cash, what you can do instead is just leave the map and come back and go back to that zone and see if they're there. Okay, so my solo is here. Now, if you have any solos here, they should all be here. So if I don't see anything else, I don't have any new solos here. And my herd is here. Okay, so we checked here. Nothing is here. Man. Look at this, guys. That is a new level 2 solo, and that is a small level 3 solo. That is awesome. It's working. Now, when you think you have all of your solos shot down to being a level 2 or a very small level 3, what I would recommend doing is checking every single water source that muleys can be at and make sure there are no solos out there, because once you shoot all of those stacked level 5s, it becomes a lot harder to deal with solos after that. You may have to stack again to deal with missed solos. So make sure you have them all the first time, and your grind will thank you. Okay, so I have a tip for you that is specific to doing the muley grind here in Asi Ridge. Now, if you have a zone at a lake that is really hard to see, what I have done is deliberately blown that zone out, like I did at this lake right here. Like, you have to get to like 100 meters from that lake to be able to see anything. So I deliberately blew the zone out, and what it did was jump directly to the lake below. And now I can see them from right up on the mountain, and I have clear shooting lanes, and that worked out amazingly well. So if you have a zone on a lake that you don't like, blow it out, and it will come back very close by. And will you look at that? That is a brand new level 2 solo. Yes! So that is how I have been dealing with my solos, and it definitely is working, and I really hope this video does help you with your grinds. If you did enjoy the video or learn anything at all, go ahead and splat that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, share the video and leave a comment down below. Let me know your absolute dream great one. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Looking to put a muley great one in your lodge? Click right here to learn how to set up a grind in Asi Ridge using herd management.